Hey guys, this is Ella, your host. Welcome to the Fireplace Podcast. We are here with AWOL. Hi, how are you?
Hey guys.
It's good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So we don't want to start immediately with all the questions because we obviously want to
ease me into it, you know what I mean?
We want to know just about yourself and who you are. So do you want to tell us?
Oh, so when you said don't ask any questions, all of it's going to be on you now. Too easy. All right. So, what do you want to know? I'm AWOL, independent artist.
Okay.
Been in love with music since I was a little kid.
Okay.
Didn't know that it was an option for like a career until more recently in life. Yeah. And once I found that out, made some changes. And now I have a band of merry men. And we just do what we love together, and we've been having a blast. We're all neighbors. That's my band's name. So
okay, nice. How did you start with music? Like
how did I start with music? So it was I don't know, it was like a slow burn type of start. So I was an athlete growing up, and basketball was kind of the only thing that was fed to me to like be able to better my life.
Okay.
So I was a student athlete growing up, and that was pretty much all everybody saw me as. And so in turn, that's what I saw myself as.
Okay. That's pretty cool though. Yeah. I did soccer for a while too. So
you know the vibes. Like,
loved it though, but definitely, it just wasn't for me at that time. So yeah.
Right. And I like to think that, we love things and we grow out of them. Like I had a stuffed animal when I was a kid. Don't still have that stuffed animal, Things change. But I learned more about myself and like what I wanted out of life. Like I came to this conclusion of I wanted to love whatever it was that I was going to do.
Okay.
So I went into the military because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do yet.
Okay.
But I also didn't want to just not be doing anything. So went to the National Guard first. I'm from upstate New York, so that's nice. I was in the New York Guard for a little bit. And then I had so much fun in training that I decided to go active duty.
Very cool.
So I did that for a while. And that's when I really started like meeting people that were like rappers and R&B singers. And I started writing for some people in the military.
Okay.
I started writing for some people, and then I moved to a new duty station, and there weren't really too many R&B writers or singers for that matter. And so I started shifting towards rap and hip hop. And I started writing things that other people weren't really able to articulate. And so I was like, well, I guess it's time for me to get in front of a mic. And so I started out as a rapper. And that was up in more of the Tacoma, Seattle area. I was actually doing pretty good up there. I was with a music group up there, top Reverb Nation charts locally and for the state and stuff like that. And then I came on orders to go to Germany.
Oh.
And so
did you go?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
Yeah, I did.
How was that?
Had an amazing time.
Wow.
Did not want to come back.
That's how good it was.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
Right. Just the whole scene of how I was being treated was completely different from how it was in the States. Being a Black queer person, it's not very easy out here sometimes. Now we're in LA, so we got more sanctuary and better living situations, but overall, there's still that air of,
even if in New York, like upstate New York.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
really?
much so. Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
I would love to know more about that. But first of all, thank you so much for your service.
No problem.
Obviously.
Oh, it was fun.
And I definitely want to dig into that way more. But I still want to just go a little more into music and were you doing music in Germany as well?
I was.
Yeah?
I was.
Did you perform at all?
I did. I performed a lot actually in Germany. I was part of a music group there too. Shout out to Rico Green. He kind of took me under his wing. He was another service member, but he was a very well-known rapper over there. And so we would do shows and go all over Germany. And
nice.
Yeah. So
that's like a small like tour or just like just playing around the bars both. There.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I've never been to Germany.
Oh,
I want to go.
You should definitely go.
Okay.
Frankfurt, Berlin. Just go.
And okay, we'll do. And I also obviously I would love to know more about your experience in the queer community in the music industry.
Oh, for sure.
I want to know first. I want to know. So you just performed these songs for us that are really, really cool. I love them. And I want to know what your process is like when you write music.
My process when I write music, most all of it. I can't even say most or a lot. All of it comes from personal experience, right? So it's really me just processing what is going on in my life and relating it to the world around me.
Okay.
And then coming up with if I can sum it up in one word, what is that word? And then once I sum it up in that word, it's like, all right, now we're going to elaborate the story. It's kind of like writing an essay or like a research paper for me.
Right.
But it's music. So
very cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Like I've never really even thought of that way. So would you say that your songwriting was different in like different stages or like parts
for sure.
where you were?
For sure.
Like in Germany, for example, did you write anything?
Yes.
When you were there?
So also the way I approach songs, I usually approach it from the instrumentation part first. It's rare for me to like just write a song without any type of instrumentation.
Okay.
And so when I was in Germany, I actually got off active duty and stayed out there for like another year. And I didn't have as much access to the rap community as I did before. So I started actually moving more towards like dance music. Oh. And I started writing more like songs.
Okay, dance like EDM or like pop?
Like techno type. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Shout out to DJ Holla.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. We'd love to know that, I'd love to know actually that you were writing stuff in Germany as well. Did any of the songs that you performed, like, were they written in Germany?
They weren't.
Okay. Can you?
Can I what?
I would love for you to talk about just like the process on those songs specifically.
Okay, so with Coconuts or Fido, because those are two different places in life, honestly.
And I want to know more about that. But the first one that you performed, Coconut, right?
So Coconuts was just a really different time. It was during COVID, actually, like during and like right before COVID. I had quit my job because I came out here, right? And I'm like, I want to do music, but I still was like, I have to live. And so I decided to take a full-time job. I was IT and cybersecurity in the military. So I took a full-time job as a cybersecurity officer at one of the aerospace companies in El Segundo. I did not know that it was going to take as much of my energy. It wasn't even about the time. It was like the energy that was put into that. Because I don't know how to half-ass anything. So
I say, so you just like go full in.
Right.
Which is great, honestly. It's great to do.
But what I noticed was that like my life was externally awesome. Like I had money and like I was going on vacations all the time and going shopping whenever I wanted to. But like my music was stagnant. And so some other things happened and I decided to just go for it. Like full on, didn't know how it was going to happen, but I'm going to figure it out. So I left my job and decided to do this full time.
Hell yeah.
During that time, everybody thought I was crazy.
Everybody's going to think you're crazy when you...
Everybody thought I was nuts and they're like, we don't understand what's wrong with you. And I'm like, all right, you don't know what's wrong with me, but like I got contracts from NASA and like everybody else, like I'm fine. Like I trust myself. So like that's where Coconuts was coming from, was like a place of like everybody loves me and thought I was awesome until I wasn't doing what everybody thought I was supposed to be doing. And so,
wow, what a great story. Holy shit. Like, I'm just like, how do you feel when everyone was pretty much against what you were doing?
I felt invisible to everybody else, but I still knew who I was. Like I was the one that achieved everything else that I achieved before then. So it's like I didn't change. Just perspectives changed about me. And so it was just like, all right, well, I guess y'all will figure it out when you figure it out, but I know what I need to do. And so yeah, I did. Clearly.
That's awesome. I'm so happy you did, and I'm so happy you followed your passion and just what your heart and wanted to do. You know what I mean?
100%.
I think that's really important. Sometimes you definitely get caught up into just your day-to-day job, and like even though that's fine and it gives you money and stability, which is important as well.
100%.
I think there's nothing like just following what you love, and very happy you did.
Me too.
And then you wrote Coconut. Yeah. What about the other song?
Fido. Okay, so Fido. I actually had the hook for Fido for like maybe a year. I had a hook for that, but I like didn't have anything for the verses. I'm not one to like try to force anything when it comes to songs. Like I'll save this. We'll come back to it. I have other songs that we can deal with. Right. So, I went to work on Fido for a project actually in school, and my brother died.
Okay.
And I was going through a lot of just dealing with things, and I knew that even though it felt like I kind of wanted to give up on like everything that I had worked so hard to build up to that point, but I knew like something's different this time. So like we're gonna push, and so I did, and Fido came out.
I'm so sorry, but
yeah, right. Wow. And it was almost like I knew what my brother would have wanted me to do, and so that's kind of where it came from. Was like, hell
yeah, no, I love that song so much, and it has such a meaning, So that's beautiful. That's gorgeous. Is there any other, I would say strategies that you have for songwriting, or something that you like do right before, or just a little more in depth? I would say.
So I'm gonna act like I'm active when I write. Like I move a lot. I love to dance. And so I feel like what it really is for me is more so a vibe.
Nice.
I like to set a vibe. So like you'll hear a lot of like chants in my music. That's also, the military and my church background. My parents are, I was raised in church. So, there's a lot of the group spirit going on in my song. So like, that's one of the biggest pieces, I guess, of my music, is just making sure that it's a vibe that people can feel.
Right. And they are. I've heard you live as well with the band, and that was incredible as well. So,
thank you.
So like live, acoustically and also with the band, are really, really good. So
those guys are, man, they're crazy. They're so talented. Like,
so are you.
Thank you.
So I heard that you're part of the queer community. So
you heard?
Yeah, I heard. Yeah. So am I. Also, and so I feel like I want to know, you said that you grew up in church, and like I definitely want to know.
She's like, what was that like?
Yeah, because like I did too. So
it was very I never felt safe, and I never felt like I could be completely myself.
Okay. Did you have to hide a little bit?
100%. Little bit? No.
A little bit? Oh, no.
Okay. There was... So I also went to a Christian school, right? Okay. So there was this one instance. We were coming back from a basketball tournament, and the headmaster of the school sat everybody down in the cafeteria and went off about there's people talking about that there's girls in the girls' dorm that are gay. Mind you, I didn't even think about coming out to anybody at that time.
How old were you?
I was 14 at the time. And I didn't even think about coming out to anybody at the time because I just know like there's just some things you're going to get kicked out of the house about. And like, you know, I didn't need those problems. So first time in my life, my hands are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. You know, like
you were like, oh, I got caught.
And when I say like the two people next to me that I was sitting next to got called and I didn't, and I was just like, oh, it's time for me to go. Like, but yeah, that was one of those times in my childhood that was really like, it wasn't something that I want. Like I tried to pray the gay away. Y'all didn't even have to try. I tried.
Right.
But it was like, no, this is who I am. And like, it's to the point where like I'm hiding it so that like I don't end up unalived, you know? And so
how did you deal with that?
How did I deal with that? I dealt with it through just going crazy with everything else that I touched. Like I lived 100%. So it was like, I can't be this, but I can be whatever you guys tell me I can be, I'm going to be 100%. And once I emancipated myself and I was able to be myself fully, that's exactly what I did.
Wow.
So
wow.
Until I went into the military, and don't ask, don't tell was still a thing. But
oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to get too political, but you know, yeah, that was a thing. It was. So how would you say your journey with self-acceptance was?
So that's the thing. I always accepted myself.
Amazing.
It was everybody else around me trying to convince me otherwise. That was the issue. And it was like, sometimes it would be people that I love so much that I would deny myself and what I knew I needed to try to make them happy.
I see.
And so it was like, when I found myself in those situations, that's when my life would start veering a little off. And I'd always like pull myself back, but it's hard because when you really care about people, then like you don't want to let them down. But at the same time, like you letting yourself down is not helping anybody, because it's dishonest, and so you're building relationships off of nothing and dishonesty. So what ends up happening when people find out that wasn't, you know,
they can't trust you, or you feel that you either way let them down somehow. Yeah.
But it's both, right? So this is why like honesty to me really is the best policy.
Absolutely.
It's like,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. You also said that it was really hard growing up in upstate New York because of that. I didn't even know.
It's real, like, it's not just upstate New York though. It's
absolutely.
I feel like any small town, if it's not like a big metropolitan city, you have more room to say, I don't want to mess with these people, you know?
I see.
And so because of the fact that you don't have to work together and you don't have to deal with each other on the same transits or deal with each other because you like food that comes from other cultures or whatever, and you know, party scenes or what have you, like, because of that, you don't get to fix those problems. I feel like it really is just once you challenge those theories that people have about other cultures, other people, you really don't have a choice but to face that it's okay to be different.
Right.
And
right.
Yeah.
And it's just, I feel like you just stick out when you're different in those places. And when you want to do something differently than the other people that are doing the same thing all the time. So yeah, I mean, I've definitely felt the same way. I grew up in a city in Lima, Peru, but I somehow it felt that way. Maybe it's because it was a third world country. I'm not sure, but it just felt like people were very judgy about me being gay, and they were like,
you don't have anything better to like.
No, absolutely. I was 14 though, so I mean, everyone was like, what the hell? Like, why is this girl like, you know, sort of like different, I guess? And I was like, well, I guess I played soccer my whole life, and that made me
Okay,
more.
But like,
I don't
was
know.
your character bad? Like, that's the thing. I feel
Absolutely
like
not. I was just
people
a little,
are worried about the wrong thing.
Absolutely.
Like I look at character. If you're a shitty person, then that's when I'm like, I want you to be better. Or like, if I think I'm being a shitty person, it's like, no, you need to police that up. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah, no.
That's just me.
No, I agree. No, I agree. I mean, if you care about someone, obviously you want them to be better.
Yeah.
And obviously for yourself as well, so you can be better for the other people around you. Yeah, I also want to know, just one more question about the queer community, but
I'm here for it.
Within the music industry, how do you feel?
How do I feel? So it's crazy because this is crazy because I was in a situation where I was able to give my time and my gifts to the queer community. And as much as I loved that experience, I started to see that our community has issues in itself. Like, it's great that everybody might be, LGBTQ plus pride or whatever, but when you still have racism and like internalized misogyny and all types of it's like y'all missed the point. Like, prejudice and bigotry is prejudice and bigotry regardless of how you know what I mean, how you slice it. But it was I ended up seeing the other side of like, you just can't really get away from prejudice. I feel like it's a thing where if people aren't ready to see that in themselves, like they're not ready to have that conversation.
You think that's way too engraved in culture, like culturally?
Yeah.
I feel like same. I mean, back home it's the same. It's everyone is just, they have so much like internalized homophobia and like racism, and it's like they don't even notice, and it's like, dude, no, like there are certain things that I feel like to this point people should know when to say and when not to say it. Like, not even when not to say it, like just when, literally, like, don't say those things. And I think most people are just, they think it's okay because it's like culturally for many years have been like okay, quote unquote, but it was never okay, I think, but it's also like we learn, right? So absolutely,
the whole point of language is like to identify things. If your definition of something is not exactly what it is, it's like, that's why language evolves, right? And so some people, they just stopped caring to learn about other people or anything outside of their immediate life.
You think people are too scared to change or to like have
I think
something
people are
like
scared,
new concepts?
just period. Like,
that's good.
You got to think about it. During COVID, I'm not Googling right now, but like pretty much what was shown was like the amount of like students that fell behind just in regular schoolwork, and like they're like really behind, right? And so you take things like that, and before COVID, we already had an issue with education, right? So when you have people that just fundamentally don't understand communication, what happens when people are scared? They're going to project, right?
Absolutely.
And so it's not a thing where, I don't think anybody is a bad person per se. I just think that, people are scared and they don't want to look dumb or crazy or anything. Like, they want to be respected, but they're going about it the wrong way. And like, it's kind of still up to us, because we know better, to still be the bigger person. And as much as I hate that, like, it really is true.
I agree. That's crazy that you mentioned COVID and how when people are scared, they project, because that's basically, I feel like a lot of people, I mean, it was scary, but I feel like that fear became like a whole, like, just like a massive fear, and like it just made everyone.
That was a real pandemic, honestly.
Absolutely. I think like everyone was just so, which is okay. I've had so many friends that were like really scared, but I feel like it was to the point that they would make themselves like so stressed, you know, and like that was just really sad to see. And like you said, people were falling they were not doing great in school or dropping off. And then I think it was just all just a mess.
And that's like, you don't know what people are going through. And I really try to remember that. Like,
absolutely.
As much as I may take hate or whatever,
or you
like,
could just judge them immediately.
Right. Yeah. But even with the judgment, it's like, I'm not judging from a place of, oh, I want something bad to happen to that person. It's more so for me, like, all right, well, this is how I need to show love. And like, this is where I'm coming from, so that you will be able to receive it, not from a bad place.
I see.
And so
that's beautiful. Yeah. Wow. That's gorgeous. No. Okay. So I want you to tell us, if you had to, I mean, totally just not out of context, but I want you to tell us, like, if you have to say, if you had to describe yourself in 3 words.
3 words?
Yeah. What would they be?
Passionate.
Okay.
No, it's just 1 word, passionate. Like, that's it.
Well, honestly, I love that. I love that so much. Why passionate?
That's like, I will literally stay in bed and not care unless it's something that I really feel like, yo,
fire,
get up and we need to do this. Like, this is what's happening.
Fuck yeah.
I am 100%
intention.
A person.
Yeah.
Intention and rest when necessary. Like, there's a reason why there's notes and rests, right? Like, rests are necessary.
I love that. Literally just music nerds, notes and rests.
Like,
but that's a really good way to describe it. Like, I feel like sometimes I'm the same way. I would go 100%, but I just do way too much. And it's just like, I burn myself out to the point that I'm just like, I can't even think, because I'm just like, there's everywhere, like so many thoughts at once. And then the moment I rest, I'm like, oh, wow. Like, you know, and like, you know, we
need to do everything all the time.
That's true.
But it's like, I don't have time to learn guitar and bass and master all of these things. So it's like, I know, like, how do I think I'm supposed to be doing everything?
You just work smarter.
Right.
Not harder.
And like, work with people that have the same passion and want to put in the same type of work.
Absolutely.
Like, I 100% believe in just uniting with like-minded people.
Yep. That have the same drive as you. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm like trying to think about a story, but I'm blanking on the story. But I was going to say that the way that I deal with a lot of that stress of like, oh, I have to do everything at once, right? Is probably just yoga. A lot of yoga to like really just ground myself, be mindful, and then be like, okay, I'm good.
I've been doing a lot of mindfulness work and like.
Great.
Yeah.
How's that going?
Oh, since it started during the pandemic, actually.
Okay.
Like maybe a little bit before. Like actually, during that time when I left, because it was 2019, I left my job, right? So literally, right?
Oh, wow.
My COVID started a little bit earlier than everybody else's, but yeah, like this is why I was able to come to the conclusions that I have, is because I did all that work.
Mine has started in 2020 as well.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Wow. Okay. I love that so much. We know that you're a veteran, and I would love to know how your life was in the military and what led you to eventually pursue music.
So music was always like, by the time I had gotten into the military, it was always like a thought and something that I just like to do on the side. I didn't know if it took me anywhere, then that'd be great. But like, it wasn't that serious. Right.
Okay.
And that's the thing with me, like early 20s me, and I guess I'm aging myself right now, and that's fine. I don't really care. But like early 20s prior to that, me was like, I don't really take anything seriously. Like, it's just fun, and I'm here until I'm not. Doing it. Yeah. We're
just like, okay.
And so we're just gonna
ride with it.
Why not? You know, that was really my question, was why not?
Nice.
And so even in the military, like I would just do stuff that everybody else would be like, you could just sit in the motor pool. That's where everybody would just be to like kill time in the middle of like missions and stuff, right? And I'm just like, well, no, like there's other things that we can do. And so I would always be the one to like try to make things better.
Nice.
And I would always get like rewarded for it on the back end, but like I don't know. It was never for the rewards. It was more so because I saw a way to make everybody else's lives easier.
Nice.
And like I just loved who I was in the fight with.
It made you feel good. Yeah.
It was just camaraderie to me is nice. The most important piece. So I've always had like really good company.
Nice.
Like every step of my journey, it's always been like really good company, and that has been what's defined my journey. Even with music, like I said, Rico Green, the music group I was with in Seattle, even the local rappers I was working with in New York. Like it was always just good people, and you know, people settle where they settle, and you know, I kept going, but there was always memories made, and I feel like that was always like the most important piece to me. Was That's like
beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. And would you say that coming into the military, did you know that you wanted to pursue music after, or was it like when you were in there?
It was when I was in.
Okay.
And I would say it became more so when I was in Washington. And I started getting more recognition. Okay. I actually got a look from Universal Music Group, but it was like a 360 deal, and they wanted to take everything.
Wow.
And I was like, no, I'd rather not.
Wow.
So, just kept going independent from there. And when I got to Germany, we kept going. And I got to a point where like, okay, so for what I'm going for, like the scene just wasn't there for what I needed.
In Germany?
Right. And so.
Is it just more of like a dancey, like techno?
Like they have a hip hop scene and a dance scene. And here's the thing. I feel like if you're in the US and you pop off in the US, then everybody else is like, hey, will you come tour here too?
Yep.
You know? And so
you're like, I got to do it over there.
All right. And it was like.
That's true. Because if you do it in Germany, you would just have to be in Germany or Europe, right? Mm-hmm. And then kind of sort of try to expand. But you're right. If you do it here, you can just have more access to other countries. Right. Why did you come to LA? I have to ask.
So, crazy thing. My cousin came out to visit me. And remember that part where I told you, like, I lose myself when I love people and I want to make them happy. I was in one of those types of situations.
Okay.
And my cousin came out to visit for her birthday, mind you.
Nice.
And she was like, you do not look like yourself. And what is going on with you? And I was just like, I told her, you know, like, I thought things were going to be different, you know, me staying out here, and like, I thought, you know, I would be a little bit further with, you know, the music stuff and whatnot. And she was like, well, I'm moving back to LA. So if you want to come, then you can come. And I was like, but I don't understand, like, how's that going to happen? Like, I'm not even.
You were like,
I'm not even, what does this even mean? She was like, okay.
She was just offering. Yeah.
Literally sat there with me, put together, because I didn't know what a civilian resume was looking like at that point. Like I knew military stuff, but like how to put together like a civilian resume and like understanding what my worth was as far as like IT and cybersecurity.
Absolutely.
Because I'm looking at it from a place of I'm around a bunch of other me's. Like
I see.
So like
I see.
Yeah. And so she was like, you don't even understand what you're worth right now.
Absolutely.
And so she pretty much interviewed me. It was like, so this is what you're going to do. You're going to upload this to all the job websites, and
very cool.
That's how I ended up over here.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Shout out to my cousin Brittany. She's awesome.
Oh yeah. No, like amazing cousin. Oh my God. Yeah. So like, was that your first job when you came to LA?
It was.
Okay, cool.
My first and only job, actually. Yeah.
Would you do it again?
100%.
I'm pretty sure you're really good at it.
No. If that was like where my heart really was, I would definitely do that. But my thing was, I understood like somebody really wants to be in this position. It's good pay and like it's a really good job.
Absolutely.
For the right person.
Yeah, I feel like not a lot of people would or like do it. So I feel like it's a really good thing that you know. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to definitely touch on your band.
Okay.
We're all neighbors, right?
Shout out to my guys, Trev, Zion, Henry, Josh, Barry.
Oh, wow. Yeah. How many are you guys in the band?
6. Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
Yep.
How did that idea come to
that idea? Okay. So pretty much it was one of those, I want to do something different. Like I did every other genre pretty much. Like I was already doing like R&B. Obviously I rapped, and I had a couple more like pop songs. But I was in a place where I internally had more to rage about. So okay. I was like, I think it's time for me to start a rock band.
Fuck yeah.
And so I went to school, and the school I went to was more on the rock side of things, coincidentally. And so that's where I met the first iteration of that band. Nice. And then COVID happened, and everything was on pause for a while. And then Trevor and his twin brother, who was one of my bassists at the time, they had came back for school. Okay. And that's how we got this iteration of the band.
Nice.
And yeah,
how did it turn into a 6?
It turned into, because you know how it works. Just hey, this person like, is hey, dope.
Do you want to play?
Exactly. This person's dope, and I think they should play with us. And I'm like, okay. Like,
absolutely. No, absolutely. Yeah. And if they're down and they have time, why
exactly.
not?
And so my vision for the band was for it to be more like a Justice League, like Avengers type situation anyway.
That's cool.
Which was like, we all have our own things going on, but like for public services announcements, we come together and, give the people what they need.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
And did you guys write together? So
the process usually is like, I'll come up with the melody and lyrics, and then Trev will come do the counter melodies and the chords and lay everything down, and then we'll come to the band with it. And everybody, that's cool.
Just kind of jumps in and then do their own thing. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Hell yeah. Well, it's been so lovely to have you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being so open with us about all these, questions. And I'm so happy that you got to speak, and like speak about those things. So.
I'm glad you didn't send me the interview questions beforehand. I like this.
Yeah, like more spontaneous and just like let it flow as it goes. Yeah. Yeah, please. So do you have any just future projects or upcoming gigs or anything that you would like to share?
Future projects definitely on the way. We're not going to give any release dates yet.
Okay.
We'll give it Kanye style right now.
Okay.
Ye style. And as far as any upcoming shows, you can check us out at We're All Neighbors on our IG page. We usually have everything up on either our stories coming up or in the bio.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And where can they listen to your music and find you?
Oh, we're on every platform, WAN, and yeah, my stuff, Absent Without Love. So,
yeah, thank you so much for being here, and thank you guys for watching. Go follow every page.
At Absent Without Love on all socials, and then the band is at We're All Neighbors on all socials. So.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you so much, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you. Bye.